Welcome back to another video. Today I just wanted to talk about the problem with MCOC as a game, as its main component of gameplay is PVE, which means you're playing against computer-generated characters. You're playing against robots, so it's a person versus a robot, whereas other fighting games have something called PvP, which is player versus player. So maybe in another game you could go to socials, you could pick out one of your friends, and then you could say, if you decided to both duel at the same time, you could actually fight them live. So you wouldn't just be fighting this robot which is trying to mimic how they play, you'd be actually fighting a real player, which means they'd be more skilled, it'd be more interesting, the fights would be much more entertaining, and I think a lot of content, which is just being filled with tons of nodes to make the games harder and higher PI champions, could be a lot more enjoyable if you just had people behind them. I mean, imagine the tournaments you could have, they've got Beat the Boss and all that stuff with the new Thanos Gauntlet, but it's still an AI, which means it will never be as enjoyable as if you're playing a real person. You'd feel a much better sense of accomplishment if you were beating a player, And I say, obviously, the story quest content, I think, is meant to be, player versus robot. I agree, this is PvE content, but say you go to, where is it? If I just leave this Realm of Legends right now, and we go to the recent Gauntlet Thanos boss fights, these boss fights are definitely meant to be, PvE, you're playing a robot. But imagine if you could have the tournaments like that with real players, real-time players. You could be playing, you could go into a match, and you'd be like, okay, bam bam, I'm going to play this person, I'm going to go to my friends list, we're going to do a quick duel. That would be really cool. How cool would that be? Oh, look, my friend here, he's got an Archangel, let me find someone who's a similar rating to him, he's got 1000 rated Archangel. Okay, well, I'll bring in my 3-star Ghost, and we'll have a fight. And I just think, I've heard before that the reason they won't do this is because it's not possible for this game engine, because it's quite an old game. But I feel like it is. At this point, I feel like surely there is a way that they can implement PvP into this game, because it just seems like such a more enjoyable sort of game mode, because, we're so used to fighting this AI every day. And it's just, yeah, I think it would just be great. I don't have much to say about it. I just think PvP would be a great thing to implement. I wish we had some, gameplay of if someone was able to do that, where they'd had, because then imagine the YouTubing content that could come out. Imagine a tournament organised by Kabam with all the big MCOC YouTubers. You could have, Cease and V's Legacy actually against each other, instead of actually, as if they're just playing against a boss and they're trying to beat the boss. No, they could actually play each other. Seaton goes in with oh, I love Hyperion. Legacy's oh, I want to be Sim Supreme. And then you see who wins. Or they have the same champion, you see which is better. Who cares about nodes then? Who cares about how hard the fight? It's about how good the players are themselves. And I think it would open a lot of doors for new content in this game, and just be, another way to play the game, because I've heard for a long time people thought that Marvel Realm of Champions could have been this thing, but it's PvP, but it's still not like a 1v1 system. It's more like a Marvel Future Fight, and this game is about 1v1. It's the sort of Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat style, but on a mobile game. So yeah, these are just my ideas right now. I mean, I don't know if this would ever happen or anything, but I just feel like it's not actually to do with what they're doing with the game right now, because there's tons of content. There really is. There's tons of game modes. You can play tons of things here, but no one wants to do incursions. It's way too long. Arena is a grind. The recent event quests are pretty crap. The uncollected and Cavalier rewards are abysmal. If you're an Act 6 like me, and you're roadblocked, and you just don't, look, you're halfway through, and what you've got looked forward to, the champion fight, no one wants to do that. It's just, lots of places where there's content and come up and say, oh, look, you can go in here, you can do this, you can play this, look at all these things here. Oh wow, why complain? But it's just not enjoyable, and there's just no rewards good enough. And alliance quests, well, I don't even want to get started on that. I'm in an alliance of my own just so I don't play alliance quests, you know. So for new players, obviously there's a lot of content, but someone like me who's completed about at least 50% of the things in this game, I'm just quite bored right now, and I've always thought PvP. At one point I thought there was an announcement going to happen that they would do it, and I was like, oh my god, that would be amazing, but they never did. So anyway, I just hope they do something like this. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.